Hey gang, I just wanted to jump on here because the last month of Zooms or so, a common statement or a common belief has come up, and it's pretty much where we start a lot of the times when I'm working with people with injuries, and that is one of the more common reasons people start up with me. Some of the others, people just wanting to prepare their bodies to do something artistically creative, and they're taking on a new venture, or they have a goal in mind, or they have a project in mind, or they just want to prepare their bodies to handle the level of medicine that they're going to go into when they go with Dr. Cassie, and they start pulling down levels of medicine that are untouched in any other named part of medicine, because the named medicines don't hold any truth. I hope that's starting to become clear. But a common statement theme that we got to start from regarding injuries is they're told, usually they have gone to every specialist, every division of injuries, from orthopedics to physical therapy to occupational therapy to energy work to body work to breath work to Graston to fascia, blah, 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 to some sort of form of training, to whatever. And it doesn't work and won't work just because of what those things are based on. But when they present, they've acquired the stories, one of them being that this tissue I've damaged, which they've seen now because of imaging, doesn't heal, will never heal like other tissues in the body, or I'm just going to accept that I'm just not going to be what I was prior to the injury. And it could be acute, falling off a third-story building, or it could be something that's slow levels of damage that we don't listen to for 20 or 30 years until it becomes loud and clear that we need to change. And so this is where I start with people, and it's stuff like this, like, well, with a broken bone, the bone heals stronger, but with fascia or meniscus or cartilage or ligaments or synovium or joints or discs or nerves or I think I said meniscus, any other type of tissue other than bone. They love to say that. And then that person now sits there and goes, their starting point is limit. Their starting point is lack. Their starting point is manage. Their starting point is, well, shit. All right, let's do the best we can. And then they go all in whatever that technique or division of medicine is, and it doesn't work for the reasons that my whole page stands for. And then they're like, well, I guess I'm just getting older. I guess this is just something that I have that doesn't, because this is, and studies show, and the percentages of people that come back. But again, you're not in the study, and you aren't the percentages measured. You are you. But imagine if there was that limiting factor. I just want to put something on that. They will say this. Things like bones just heal stronger. You'd be lucky to damage a bone, but when you damage any other tissue, ooh, that's a total different. You're not gonna, and it's partly where it's coming from. No human would say that naturally, but a human educated to say that would. And that's what we got here. We have certifications, we have coaching programs, we have licenses, we have degrees that are teaching from a source of science and research, measuring tissues and measuring histology and measuring all these things. And then they go ahead and throw these averages and throw these generalizations on the person. And that's what their entire business is based off of. And so you start from a point of, geez, I can't do this. Well, here's why they like to say things like that. Because a bone's going to heal without you doing anything. They love to say that. So all they got to do sometimes is cast it or immobilize it. And that doesn't take a rocket scientist level of knowledge or some degree. You can just put two sticks together, wrap it, and just keep the person comfortable. And the bone's going to mend itself, because that's just what the body does. Just like you don't have to do anything for a scar to form on a leg cut or a cut on your skin. And so we love to talk about these areas of healing like that. Like, yeah, the body heals itself. Look at that scab. The body heals itself. Look at that bone. Well, those are levels of healing that you didn't have to do anything. You just kind of had to not do it again, sort of a thing. And so those divisions of medicine and those professions will go in and go, see that? And they'll throw some fancy words at it, like osteophytes or epithelialization or angiogen, all these fancy words, and chondrocytes. But chondrocytes are different because they mature at these rates, blah, 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 blah. And then you go ahead and you have a meniscus problem, or you have joint on joint, bone on bone, or you have a muscular problem, or you have a fascial problem, or you have a meniscus, as I said, a ligament problem, or you have a synovium problem, or you have a disc problem. And it's like, oh man, but these, good luck, these don't. The only reason they latch on to that, and they've been told that, is because they don't know how to guide you in a way that has you in a position to heal those tissues to a level greater than what you were before the injury, because that's the capacity of everybody, not just the lucky ones, not just the young ones, not just the single ones, not just the ones who are entrepreneurs, but everybody. So they'll say, bone heals back stronger. You'd be lucky to just do a bone because then we could just cast it. You wouldn't have to do shit. And that's not actually true, because the single tissue of a bone will mend itself, but the cause of the injury is still present. The electricity of the injury is still present. The memory of the injury, the pattern and the limp afterward the injury is still there. So the dynamic of the human, they just totally disregard, because they reduce you down to a tissue. And then they'll go ahead and lump in that your spine or your shoulder or your hips or your ankles can't, because according to these humans who have been taught and educated, don't know how, nor have they done it themselves. That's another big thing. None of them have healed it themselves. That's why they just say it. They like saying the words, but they don't understand because they haven't done it themselves. And so I'm here to say that tissues aren't determined on how. You're not like lucky if you damage this and unlucky if you damage that. The body just heals. That's all it does. It just needs a certain level of ingredient, a certain level of inputs, and a certain level of subtraction, a certain level of change, a certain level of awareness and motives and intention for you. Before the injury, you have to be a completely different person afterwards. But the body will adapt. The body will heal itself regardless of what the level is. That'd be like somebody telling Cassie or somebody coming on like, oh, my level of cancer is so, there's no way we can, it's just a healing response, a greater healing response. Could you imagine if you had these stages, but not this stage, or this level, but not this level? That doesn't make any sense. But these pieces of medicine that have these names, especially in the natural world, are pitching out these limiting stories to their clients, patients, communities, their gatherings, because they just don't know. Then stop. But I can't voice it enough. It doesn't matter whether it's bone. It doesn't matter whether it's cartilage. It doesn't matter whether it's skin. It doesn't matter whether it's ligaments or connective tissue or whatever it is. It doesn't matter what your age is. It doesn't matter what your sport is. It doesn't matter what your history is. It doesn't matter what your activities are. It doesn't matter what your social connection is. It doesn't matter what your relationship status is. It doesn't matter whether you have social media or not. It doesn't fucking matter. The body just heals, period. Now, the severity of the changes that you need to make, the severity of the motivations that you need to do, the severity of things you have to cut out, the severity of the things that you have to abide by, the rules and laws, sure, here we go. But saying something like a bone heals back stronger, but XYZ tissues don't, or these injuries are, the only reason is because those levels of healing require very minimal change, and that's why the practitioner loves to talk about it that way. Like, see how well you healed, like when you came back, but the person didn't have to do anything. That's why everyone loves supplements, because you don't have to change your life. You can literally be walking in your life, pop supplements without breaking stride. That's why we love being sold that we can do these things without changing anything, nothing at all. And then you have like the minimal input, like waking up a little early to take a bath that's a colder temperature. But nothing else is going to change in your life. That's it. Or you've changed your light bulbs. Fantastic. Nothing else has changed. We love doing these levels of medicine that require nothing. And that's why it will appear that the body never heals, or age determines your level of healing, or your, again, relationship status, or whether or not you have kids, or whether or not you're happy in your marriage, or whether or not, there's many things that go into it. But as far as the statement of certain tissues heal but certain other ones don't, or certain levels of cancers heal and certain other ones don't, Cassie will be the first to knock that right out of the internet world, proving it on a daily basis. So just another story I wanted to clear up that people are holding on to, and where I start a lot of times in my Zooms, because we have to go ahead and eliminate that thing, prove it right there, because then that's the starting point, because then everything else we're going to go into in the rest of the Zoom time for the rest of the few hours is going to be going in, putting you into a knowledgeable position of being able to take this thing on and be able to change your life and see where and how to acknowledge and how to feel and how to sense and where to go and what to do and how to dose, and then not only heal from whatever the current level of injury is, but put yourself in a position that when future injuries occur, because they will, because you're going to be living a harder, higher, more loving, more intense life, that when they show up, you don't hesitate. You know exactly what you need to do, how you need to do it, why it happened, what you need to do, why it makes sense. Make sense of your body, make sense of healing, make sense of solutions without breaking stride. That's healing. Healing is setting you up for other levels of life to come in and you don't miss it. Again, as Dr. Cassie and I showed, whether it's a local phenomena here or a car accident in a completely other country, this level of healing doesn't stop. This level of life change doesn't stop. It doesn't matter what's in your way. It doesn't matter what's body expressed. It doesn't matter what shows up. Skin on the back of my hands burning off, car accident, Croatia, broken foot, fractured this, chronic this. It's all coming from the same place. Careful not to let a profession or the science or research limit you, limit the true nature of what the human capacity is, because it's an infinite, beautiful thing. All right, heading out. Have a good weekend. Bye.